to Alec Guinness, who's very, very English, and it's a very, very English accent. It's very interesting because he actually pulls it off pretty well. Because his real accent is way different.
Oh, he's got that video.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like Fat Bastard.
With MakingStarWars.net.
Hi, I'm Jason Ward. That's me. Disfigured, bad-eye, moody-looking motherfucker. I wore sunglasses on Star Wars.net show. Today I'm just like, it's getting a little bit better. Looks a little less crazy. Like I had a stroke or something. How's it going, Rob?
I woke up and magically I'm on the show. I was just sleeping.
Yeah.
What happened? How did I get here? How did I get here? You better not do this to me tonight. I'm sleeping. You can't summon me into the show like this. Is weird, man. All right. I guess I'll do the show.
Zooey says quality beard. Well, yeah, I thought I looked younger when I shaved it, but then I saw that Andor becomes like 17 again if he grows a beard. So I figured maybe that would apply to me. No?
You got to get the buttercream dream stash going on, buddy. Skew! Buttercream dream. So good.
Excuse me. Allergies. They're a thing.
Or you can go with the Hogan, right?
The Hogan?
For Halloween, go with the Hogan. It's
The
not big in
Hogan?
LA.
The Hogan family? I was pretty mad. I'm like, where's Valerie?
You, bud.
Where's Valerie? That's what I said.
Well, it didn't help, bro. Look, I know we got to talk about the show, but these
it's
minutes
linked.
Precious.
Sandy Duncan's eye, my eye.
See, the thing about Valerie is Valerie Harper looked exactly like my mom, and my mom's name is Valerie. So you have to understand. This is when like she just got divorced, so it's her and me living like Alice, like me. That was the other show we watched because that Valerie, Harper, just my mom loved. She looked just like her, Margot Kidder, Valerie Harper. So like that was her show. And then when my mom abandoned me and they got a new mom, it was called the Hogan family. I was like, this is like my life.
This is really happening right now.
They get rid of her when my mom kicks me. I lost my mom too. Whoa.
Yeah. The psychology of that is kind of crazy too when you think about it. Like obviously the TV show just had to do what it had to like do, but it's like back then, like I don't know if you were the same, but like when your parents got divorced, it was like devastating to like your self-esteem. Like I don't know if it was to you, but I felt like it was that to people around me, myself included. Like divorce was like bad. It was like things were off and like it was like stigmatized more. Like today, your parents get divorced, people are just like, yeah, okay, not a thing. But
my parents didn't even explain to me what they were doing. Just one day I moved and I didn't go with that. I just went with mom. They just were like, yeah, it was like you're getting a new school, mom's got a new boyfriend. They just didn't explain it at all. Just that look is exactly. Yeah. Took me many years to process. That is a weird move, right? You get divorced, don't explain it. Like I had a brother, and then I didn't live with him.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, where I was going with that is the fact that they would just change the mom like that and do it like in an era where that's not a thing that we were used to. You know, it's weird.
With that show, they actively avoided that, though. They made it so she's the dad's sister or cousin or something like that. Okay. So, they were like, I don't want to do that. So that's why they were the Hogan family, because they're all related. But they didn't try to replace and whatever. Dude.
I was just like, hey, is that Teen Wolf 2?
It's like, why is Peter Pan a woman? You gotta know. Santa's like,
oh no, Sandy Duncan's tearing down all of her. Yeah, that was like, it was really weird. Like no one watched that fucking Peter Pan Sandy Duncan thing, but it was like the biggest.
Me. No, I
Do
did,
again.
Jason. Santa Duncan was my first babe. Used to have a poster of her in that outfit with the little green hat.
Yeah.
Love it.
So Santa, are you into ocular penetration?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Santa's old and doesn't understand syllables. All right.
That's fair. That's fair. There was a news story this morning when I woke up saying that Tony Gilroy was by Fandom Wire, saying that Tony Gilroy was going to be directing a Star Wars film or had the first right to pick it and all of this stuff. And then I contacted a couple of sources. Like I heard back from one, and they were like, I think he has first right of refusal on the Andor characters and like, you know, in consulting and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, I don't think it's really that's what that means. And I was like, okay. So I tried to like figure it out on Star Wars Santa show. Then in between our shows, Fandom Wire did a retraction, and they said this morning we published a story about a Tony Gilroy Lucasfilm deal that was unfortunately inaccurate. As per request, we deleted the article to avoid further confusion. We strive to report the most accurate entertainment news we can, and we're sorry for this error. And I think that's cool though. I mean, they didn't have it right, and they didn't just like let it stand and sweep it under the rug. And they said, "Oh, I fucked up." And that's I think that whenever anybody says, "Oh, I fucked up," and they mean it, then you go, "Cool." So I think that's cool on them. That's cool. That's cool of them.
Or that's Tony Gilroy's publicist trying to drum up some support for him doing a film that they maybe weren't so keen to do. You never know. You never know. There's moves. I try.
The story never made sense to me, just from the angle of like, they're gonna make Jar Jar's Great Adventure. Tony Gilroy gets the first stab at it if he wants it. It's like that's not really how this works. That's not how they
Prima Gilroy.
Yeah,
it's called Prima Gilroy. It's the right of first refusal on the so stupid.
Yeah, but so like that never really truly like actually made sense, like with how they like do things anyways. But once again, they went and they said it was an error, and so I think that's like cool.
Yeah.
Bespin says, big thanks to Jason for getting us into the Andor event.
What?
Yep. But I can't lie to you, Bespin. If it was fucking here and it was me or you, oh man, you'd be fucking eating dirt, loser. I'd so fucking be there. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, but I am kidding. You would be my plus one though. I would take you. You'd be my
sent
date.
You to another Denny's and there's no one there.
I'm like, I'm like sitting there and I like get pancakes. I'm like, can I get some strawberry topping? Then you see me reach into my pocket and take out some my own Pop Rocks, and I just pour them on the top. I'm just like reliving the past.
That really should be a bit. I feel like that should be a good bit. Like sneaking in condiments into a restaurant that have no business being on the food because they would never serve it, and the waiter comes over and it's like a fancy restaurant and like Pop Rocks are going off in your fucking meal.
Yeah.
It's just like yeah, there's something there. I got whiteboard that. I won't. Whatever.
Where's our Andor Denny's tie-in? What the fuck? Yeah,
I think with Gilroy, that'd be a fun game. Where would Gilroy want his restaurant tie-in to be? And I don't think he's a Denny's guy. Like, I'm gonna go on a limb there. Like, is it Hooters? No, he's not a Hooters guy. Where would Gilroy eat? Bennigan's? Yeah, Bennigan's, dude.
No. I think you like show up to. So Gilroy to me is a Brundlefly. So he has like a fucking flat, and he goes into there and he brings out like a carton of Chinese and he eats it from the carton while he tells you his genius ideas.
How do I remember that scene? I haven't thought about that in 30 years, and I know the scene. I can just, it's there. It's in my head. Bastard.
Yeah. I showed, I watched, I had these really weird random movie pitches about The Fly that I sent to Rob, And then I watched it with my 7-year-old daughter. She loved it. She thought it was disgusting. Hey, Jordan, thanks for the super chat, dude. Hi, guys. Been thinking about this for a while. Do you think they'll ever add all of the Lucasfilms on Disney Plus, such as Indie, American Graffiti, etc.?
Yeah.
Not exactly. Like Indiana Jones is distributed by Paramount, so that means they'd have to make like an actual deal to pay Paramount to like do it, which I don't think they would be interested in. And but all of the Disney era Indiana Jones movies will be on Disney Plus moving forward. But I also would not be surprised if they are waiting for a moment to make a deal to buy Indiana Jones entirely out from Paramount at some point, because at some point
I suspect Maverick threw off their buying shit from Paramount cheap plans for at least a few years.
Yeah. I mean I don't see it happening soon, but the studios all seem to be kind of hurting to some extent with just post pandemic. Not that we're past the pandemic, but through the part where people didn't go to the movies. And but that they're doing better than most.
Shockingly, it's the two studios that have theme parks that have the money right now. Like, if you think about that, right? Like, it's Disney and Universal.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, how can we survive? You should have built a theme park, bitches. You know, like licensing Batman out to Six Flags wasn't enough, Warners. You know, idiots.
Yeah. Well, that's what they, the rumor is that the old HBO Warner Brothers Discovery Plus thing is all a thing about just selling Warner at a profit for them.
Well, all he does is make those flip your house fucking shows. How's that shocking to anybody? By the way,
if it's true,
the Shadow season 4, go flip yourself. It's a great episode.
It's good. Okay.
Yeah, it's the name of the show. So.
Okay.
No spoiler.
But American Graffiti that was a Fox film. So that one could show up. I'm gonna just, from memory, I think there's smoking and stuff in it, and drinking and smoking and stuff like that. So I imagine it would be added after. I think it's on Amazon or Netflix. So they clearly have a deal for that somewhere with that movie. So once that expires, I wouldn't be surprised if it shows up on Disney Plus once we have the more adult stuff hitting that platform. I mean,
and it's ridiculous that they don't now. Like, it really should just have the kids option like Netflix, have the regular, and all that shit they bought. They bought all this stuff from Fox, and it's like, I get some of it has to do with licensing and rights and stuff, but like, they have a lot of content they could put right now, and they get it overseas. We just don't get it, because we're so the land of the free is too afraid to see a 40-year-old fucking film in which kids may smoke. I don't know, man. You know what? It's fucking weird, dude.
I mean, weird country. I show my 7-year-old Cronenberg films, so I'm clearly okay with my kids watching American Graffiti on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's so weird, dude.
But it is weird that we pretend. It's weird what Americans pretend.
Jason,
you know what I mean? It's so
people smoke at Disneyland. I thought that would be the one fucking place you couldn't do it.
I would not be surprised. I don't know if you still can, but they were removing a lot of it. Like that, I saw that shrinking. But you are right though. I mean, in the last 5 years, people have been smoking at Disneyland and do. I don't smoke the pot at Disneyland. I've never done that before, though.
Jesus Christ!
I've never done that.
Come on.
Yeah, I've never done that.
No one should be doing that.
No, that's don't do that. When you have like a vape pen, it's odorless. It's fine. But hey guys, been thinking about. So, anyways, yeah. So I think
it's odorless. Yet contaminated with plutonium, and then I have to whiff it in. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know, Jason. Sorry, I'm digressing, but this
Sounds like your problem. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, I'm kidding.
Class neoliberal, Jason. I like neoliberal.
I mean,
Jason.
you know, I'm just gonna say. I mean, have you ever vaped on Star Tours? You know, don't talk shit until you try it. I'm kidding. I never vaped on Star Tours.
He literally made a whole. Literally, there's a whole video about not smoking on Star Tours before it starts, Jason. I've been watching it since 1986.
It said don't smoke. It didn't say don't vape. So, anyways, so we would have to see an Indiana Jones deal go forward where we actually see them truly own Raiders of the Lost Ark and not just the character, and that they completely own it outright for Indy to ever all show up on there, I think. And which sucks. At the same time, though, I bought the 4K versions on Vudu, so I got those. So I'm okay. You know what I mean? I'll be all right. But I would love for the youngins who only have access to Disney Plus to be able to see like Raiders of the Lost Ark, to realize that like the magic of something as good as Star Wars exists outside of Star Wars. Disney probably doesn't necessarily want that to be noticed too much, but you know, when you get down to it, it seems like in a way it's against their aims to an extent. But you know, I mean, it's true though, and Lucasfilm has done things as magical as Star Wars. I mean, I guess you know they make more indie films and they make more Willow stuff now, so it's not like exactly like I'm saying like it's like guys in a room smoking cigars come up with. We don't want them to realize it, but you know, it would be nice if those you know people understand that there's things to love outside of Star Wars. As much as I love Star Wars, that's a pretty big important day when people realize that, you know, when
you talk about guys in rooms smoking cigars, I just imagine the bad guy from the Raccoons cartoon. Right, he was always chomping on that cigar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Raccoons.
Love the Raccoons. Jordan then goes on to say, I love to have a young indie TV series on Disney Plus too. That's what me and my sister Bespin talk about all the time. We think that you go and you do Indiana Jones. No, you don't want history lessons with Sean Patrick Flannery. Fine.
I don't want history lessons with just some kid walking around talking and learning about shit. I don't want that at all. Like,
and
don't.
We're not saying to like do that. We're saying to put 25-year-old Indiana Jones in the fucking jungle and film a 45-minute episode of him on an adventure with betrayal, finding archaeological stuff, and booby traps. I think like I said, my perspective is the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the best, most iconic moments in cinema history, and it's totally not bigger than what we could get on Disney Plus. That's my general like take on it. Like if you could definitely have made, you know, certain aspects of those movies in live action with a young indie, but at the same time, I love the original young indie series. It got me into anthropology and history, and so I'm not even knocking that, but I do understand why it wasn't a mainstream success, because I was just a little weirdo who was really into it. Oh, thank you, Star Wars Fits. I appreciate it. Another 10 pounds. 10 pounds. I'm going to say I put on 10 pounds today, and it was refreshing.
I've been losing straight for a year, Jason.
You're rocking it, dude. You are rocking it.
Saying.
Well, you know, I mean,
consistency and starving yourself. As long as you just immediately vomit after you eat, you don't put on anything. No,
yeah,
that's not how I do it.
Yeah, I'm just tired of you introducing me as your fat friend, Jason. I think that, I mean, good on you, but I just don't think you've earned that. Yeah,
but I phonetically spell it with a PH, so it's not the same thing.
Okay,
you haven't picked up on that.
Like Farrell's Star Trek. Got it.
Like if I say funky fat friend, right? Does that help set the tone a little better?
It does. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus this schlubby piece of shit fat fuck Jason, right? That's not as good. I'm checking for best.
It's a little more honest. But yeah. So tonight, I wanted to throw something. I wanted to throw a piece of spaghetti at your forehead and see if it sticks. So
Wall crawler, favorite cereal toy. Sorry, go ahead.
my irresponsible speculation is that with the premieres having all been done by 7 p.m. tonight, and with the embargo lifting at 7 p.m. tonight, what if the show hits around 8 o'clock on Disney Plus tonight? And if it Pacific Standard Time, if it does, are you coming on tonight? If it does that, if it drops early, you fucking quitter.
I had to sleep on that. Like my dog got me up last night, so I sent you a text right when I woke up because I was like, I'm watching him just fucking little. I love him, but man, he just takes his sweet fucking time in the middle of the night. He's just out there, 15 minutes.
Yeah,
little bastard. So, but no, man, I had to sleep around that time.
Yeah, I have a really old dog. She's 16. She's a corgi, and today I woke up and got in the shower, and I didn't open the door, the sliding glass door, and I come out and there's shit in front of the shower. Oh, is that you're trying to tell me something? I walk out into the hallway, some in the hallway, walk out to the sliding glass door, none in there. Look over in the kitchen, on the kitchen floor, and I was like, I guess you've taught me a lesson, Bella, you little punk. But
I'll say this, like I enjoy the shows and when we talk about them, but like it is difficult when we're doing like immediate reactions because we got usually 3 or 4 people on. Everyone's excited. I don't know, man. It's just hard to collect my thoughts like right after too. I like to sit on it for a little bit and collect my thoughts,
Yeah.
So I don't really think I'm in best when I'm like, because I also feel like if I don't like it or I rant, then no one else feels like talking because I motor mouth over everybody, so it's not good either. And Max, sends me irate texts, just emojis. I don't know how to do. I gotta decipher them,
Yeah, pictures of rotting carcasses and all kinds of stuff.
Just Chipotle. I don't know.
I was saying this on Santa's show. We don't have it. There's no one saying it's going to come early. It's going to drop earlier tonight, but Kenobi dropped at 8 o'clock with premieres at Celebration. They clearly knew that everybody was going to be talking about it. Excuse me. Everybody was going to be talking about it. And in this instance here, it's sort of a similar situation when in totality through all of the premieres and the embargo lifting. So I kind of wouldn't be surprised if it does come early tonight. And so I'm going to be looking for it. If it does, I'll make sure to tweet it out and I'll put it on the Making Star Wars Discord and tell everybody, hey, it's up.
I forgot we have that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I know. I'm bad with it. Like Discord as a platform is very. It's just weird to me because it's like I'll just find myself in Star Wars Meg's Discord talking, and then I'll be in Santa's, and then I'll be in ours, and it's just like I just don't remember where I'm at. I just go where the conversation goes, and then it's like, and so it's kind of weird in that front. But I said front, but anyways. But tonight is Andor. I can't lie. I was on Star Wars Santa's show. We were doing his questions, and I forgot that we could have done ours today on the show, and I did it when I was eating dinner last night. But
I forgot about those questions.
Yeah, he put out 3 of them. So if you want to do them, make sure you hit him up because I think you could win this one. This is the one I think the Gilroy vibe is going to be more of your wheelhouse than say the other ones.
If we don't do them here, I won't do them. I won't do them all.
Okay.
It's going to require me to go somewhere and do something. I won't do it.
I see.
Yeah. I appreciate it though. We should do them here next time.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we'll just do them together every time. And my first week answers, that's just I answered for you because we're fat friends. Okay. What fat friends do. PH.
You just answered everything bug writers. Dick.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, I was gonna say I had like I've been like pretty bummed, man. Like remember that story I shared about how my friend was driving home and I was walking home and like hit a rabbit, and then the rabbit ran to my friend's house and died in front of the house.
Little bit.
And then we walked into the house, and for some inexplicable reason that I still can never answer, there was a full UPS uniform sitting right there. And my friend's mom was like washing a bunch of clothes. I don't know if she bought like a big thing, like a bunch of clothes from like a thrift store or something, and that was in it. I have no idea, but it was there. And I had the genius idea. I'm like, hey, Eric, how about you put that on and then go deliver it to our crazy friend's house? I'm a teenager. And he's like a little bit older than us. So he had like a car, and he puts it on, and he drives over there. I stayed home at my friend's house, so when they called, I could take the phone call because they were going to try to put it on me because I was the kind of guy who would do that kind of shit. And but I'm like, I'm right here. How could I be delivering? How could I be doing that when I'm here right now? You know. So
all right, Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. And then so anyways, they open up, there's a dead rabbit inside, and they freak out. They think it's like the Hells Angels sending a message. They had all kinds of wild ideas. Yeah. It's hilarious. But I found out that our buddy Eric, he died yesterday. Like he had I think he had a heart attack, but he wasn't that old. He was like only like, like in his 40s. I haven't seen him in years, but he's a guy who was like always around. And I was thinking about him. I was like, he used to work at Tower Records, and he got me the Nirvana Jesus Lizard, Oh the Guilt, Puss Oh split single when he worked there. And I was like, man, that guy was cool, man. And then I was like, Tower Records is gone too. I was like, everywhere I went with Eric is gone. I'm going to die. I wasn't really thinking of it like that, but I was like, man, yeah, it sucks though. It sucks. But I love that fucking story. I will never forget when he delivered the dead rabbit dressed up as a UPS man to this asshole's house that we knew in high school. A good time.
Yeah, it's also why I took to working at Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I got winded going up the stairs last summer. I'm like, well, it's not good.
Yeah.
Gonna have to do something about that.
I was invited to the Weezer Green Album record release party at Tower Records on Sunset back then in 2000. And boy, was I disappointed in that record.
Do you want to know the last time I walked into a Tower Records? Because I remember. It was summer of 1989, and my aunt took me, and my mom had given me some money, and my aunt took it, so I never got the money back because that's how my family rolls. Mm-hmm. But she was at least smart enough to let me pick something to make me feel like I wouldn't complain. I have to come back with something, right? So I wanted the Batman. I got the Batman record, the actual record, right? And I got the Adventures of Slick Rick LP.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, her husband was an LAPD officer, and he did not like me playing that album. Yep.
Yeah. I kind of was thinking the other day. I was like, I kind of want to buy the 2 Live Crew record like on vinyl. Huh? I kind of want to get. I'll see about that. That record was pretty good, man. Those guys. I don't think they get enough. I don't think 2 Live Crew gets enough respect. They were hilarious.
Watch, the Professor of Rock. You know who that is?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, he's super good. Yeah, he covers a lot of that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, the only problem I ever have with him is that he likes too much stuff. I'm way more negative, but he's pretty on. He's pretty good. Yeah, he's fun.
He's not the Professor of Hate, Jason. He's Professor of
Rock. like remember in the fucking remember in the late 90s when all of a sudden they pretended like Matt Pinfield knew what he was talking about when Matt Pinfield was a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot. He was the bald guy who took over 120 minutes, and then he became like a Limp Bizkit lackey. Anyways, he sucks. And anyways, Professor of Rock kind of reminds me not of Matt Pinfield, but of what they say Matt Pinfield is. Matt Pinfield played the Professor of Rock on TV. Professor of Rock is a doctor. He played one on TV. That's kind of where I'm going with this. But Planet Fitness and Aria, our buddy Aria, has told me today that Andor has 89% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. And my response is that means it's likely a very, very good show. And it means that once the fandom menace understands the parable, they will review bomb it, and we will see it drop down to about a 60-something% rating after that. And once they realize that there's Mexicans in space, yeah, it'll all change. But remember this right now. This is what the actual people who saw it before release said. And I'm going to throw out there that a good 5 to 6% of that are real shills. The people who will suck the cock of anything that gives them early access to anything, without a doubt. But really, when you look at it, like I really do feel like it is less than 10% are those types of people. You know what I mean? It's not as prevalent as the internet would make you think. And I was
I'll give you my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they also didn't let us see it early.
No, I know, right?
I mean, but it is something. It is something when you get to see a film early that you do need to like pinch yourself and go, where's the razzmatazz? Where am I getting like into the exclusivity of the situation and the fact that, you know what I mean? Like where are they buying me and I don't realize it? And but the truth is that the vast majority of the people who do the reviews that you probably read have been bought for so long and so often that they forget they're bought, and then they start becoming kind of honest over time. I know that sounds weird, but that's literally how it goes. You'll see people who for a time are kind of in the pocket, and then they kind of get more, I don't want to step on any toes or get in anything or fight with anybody about anything, but like I think like John Campia is one. I haven't really I follow everything. No, in like crossing, like the John Campia stuff is, I think John Campia being post bot. He's not playing the studio game. He doesn't realize he's realized that he doesn't need to, that he could get everything that he needs without doing it. He's moved beyond it. He's got his audience. He's probably figures even with the diminishing returns, he's good to retirement. The guy's like in his 50s, right? So it's like it is what it is.
No, he's younger than me, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought he was like in his 50s or something. I don't know.
He's younger than me.
Oh, no, I'll take it back then. Sorry, can't be. No, but I mean, not
as old as James. Or none of us are.
Jiggity James.
Yeah. When you're like, I worked at West End Games, you're fucking old. Like, that's about the end of it. Santa's like, I worked at TSR. Shut up, Santa. Like, we don't need your chiming in.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely are like the politics of movie reviewing, from what I've gathered from more of the Lucasfilm side of things, and the Disney side. I think you can give. I think they know when they have like a turd. They know more than not when it, they feel the same way. And so whenever one of those, I think it's only if they have something good and it gets a bad review for the sensationalism that you actually truly get written off or whatever. But when it comes to those like Rotten Tomato like scores and stuff like that, like there is a little bit of like, when those people write an article, they either say it's bad to drive traffic or they say it's good to drive traffic. If they say it's like, it's mid. Have you seen a review that said this is mid? Not really.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't even think about Rotten Tomatoes until someone brings it up. I haven't thought about Rotten Tomatoes since Batman Begins. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm being 100% honest. My buddy always brings it up, but he's my age and we became friends around 2002, so he always assumes I'm still like in that mode. Yeah, you know, but I'm running. It's got a something tomato meter. I'm like, I don't give two fucking shits what the tomato meter
Yeah.
has. You know, like I'm not saying it isn't valid, but like, you know, my problem with those kinds of scores are that they're always of the moment, you know, and it's like 5 years later, then everyone's like, oh, well, it was actually way better than that. You know? So I'm just like, you go with the voices that you trust, you know what I mean? And then if it still seems interesting to you, you still have to make up your own opinion, you know,
Yeah.
like, so the, we love scores, right? I guess that's at the end of the day, we just gotta give everything a fucking number. But the real downside to those sort of things like Metacritics is in the game development community when they tie those scores to like their performance, you know, like,
Mhm.
oh, you won't get bonus, we'll underpay everyone and overwork them, but if you get a great score, then we'll give you a bonus or we'll give you another job, you know. So you're at the mercy of the mindset. Like, I gotta imagine right now, dude, there's a whole, like, the fact that Final Fantasy VII Remake had no turn-based option. They could have made a way to you play either way. You know, they really can. Other games have done it. Falcom has a game out that does it right now. And it's just like, but they didn't because they're going for that big Metacritic action RPG score. You know, that God of War crowd. God of War, God of War, God of War, God of War.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about God of War, man. It's not for Rob. But then you can't, they use those scores to pick and choose their fucking audience, is what's really weird. You know,
Right.
and I don't know how it works for movies. I've never really thought about it, but I gotta imagine it's gotta be the same damn way, you know, like, this has a 86 or 90 per 100% tomato meter, so that means it's the greatest fucking thing ever. Well, maybe, but maybe like it's just really good for the audience that's looking forward to it. Maybe the audience for Star Wars isn't looking forward to this because it doesn't have a fucking lightsaber. But then when they go see it, they go, "Oh shit, I didn't even watch it." So then that score is weird because what are they reviewing it for? Are they reviewing it against House of Dragons and sex and violence? Like, what are they reviewing it against? I don't know. You know?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Star Wars is and Star Wars is sort of like beyond it from the very start because the prequels, Return of the Jedi and stuff like that, you kind of saw the scores going down and on things that made them massive profits still. Like Star Wars is sort of like review proof in the sense that you got to see it for yourself.
Same
still.
with Transformers. Same with Transformers. Say what you want about those films. They're not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I know they don't get good reviews, but they still turn out like 700 to $1 million to $1 billion Fast and the Furious. Like, there's an audience for this stuff. So I think a lot of times, like, our crowd, the sane part of our crowd, people in our chat, want validation, right? Like, see, it is recognized as being good. This is recognized as being bad. But that's just not how Hollywood works. It doesn't work on like recognizing something's good, or maybe it did a long time ago, but in my lifetime, it is based around what has hype, what made a dollar sign. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Who got the most hype and did it make money?
There is definitely. I think there's like money. You're right, 100%. That's what you're saying is the dominant side of it. There is a little bit of like the prestige side of it too, and the being cool in Hollywood, and the having the like, yeah, like, you know, like HBO, look at all of our Emmys. And then there's people who are like cannot understand why the guy who's destroying Warner Brothers doesn't give a fuck about your Emmys. Because he's from the other, like the, so and it's always been truly like a mixture of those two things together is what gives a healthy industry. Like that's what you really need. But we clearly have you know, non-filmmakers. That's been the problem with Hollywood from its inception is our non-filmmakers who were involved in the business. So, like,
legitimately, if I had to give like Dune a score, if it was a 1 out of 5, I'd give it, like, for me, like a 2.5. You know? So like, but you're nuts. Okay, I'm nuts, but like I could then explain in detail why that is, you know? But I suspect, but at the time there is that, I don't know, it's just weird, dude. It's just weird that we're still hanging on these sites that their whole goal is to put up. They put up one circle of this tiny circle of like groupthink, and then they allow the bots to rampage the audience scores, which turns into like turns into to that fuck their feelings crowd on you know what I mean? Like we're gonna give Wonder Woman 84 a 90% because we look like don't like I don't know what you gotta find a voice you trust, right? That's the end of the day.
Yeah,
you gotta find a voice you trust, man.
Well, what's going to happen when they see Star Wars Spanish being spoken? I think you're going to see some idiots getting really really bent out of shape about it. I could be wrong. I hope I am.
I hope they show themselves for who they really are too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we can have a paper trail of like, here's that time, and here's that time, and here's that. They can't act like, well, was this the one time they made a stupid? No, here's all the stupid times you did. Here's the fucking. Someone will go and put a clip of here's all the fucking times you said some racist bullshit. Like.
Yeah. Joel says Campia is 50 exactly. Happy birthday, John Campia.
Oh,
I didn't mean that as like a slight against him. I was just simply saying like. From an outsider who doesn't follow him, it just seems like he's like, I'm good. I don't need you guys. I got my shit going. I could be what I want. And whereas before, we would see like, oh boy, Star Wars is here, kind of thing. Jedi Mike says corporate espionage. I always like it when they say that in Batman, industrial espionage. I didn't know what it meant as a kid, but I'd say it all the time. I'd be like, we'd be playing Batman. I'd be like, let's do some.
Let's be honest. The only corporation or organization that has a safe in the fucking dude's office is the Trump organization. Like it's right out of Acme Labs shit. This fucking dude, man. It's so crazy. I see a safe in a CEO's office. I'm just like, what?
I saw somewhere they were talking about how the fact that it like that photo of all of the evidence, that one that he's freaking out about because it looks like his office is dirty, or his whatever. Yeah, his office is dirty. That thing.
It's such a weird take.
But that is like further evidence that we are seeing that the documents weren't where he said they were, that they were all actually somewhere completely even different than what he was claiming.
They were all over the place. And they're probably at other properties as well. Yes.
Yeah.
And they were intermixed amongst his personal belongings. Come on, man. This is not hard.
Yeah.
This is I sat in a lot of courtrooms, bro, as a kid, like mama used to drop me off. I'd go to the court, watch court, bro. My other dream when I was a kid was I wanted to be a Ghostbuster. I wanted to be an artist and a lawyer, and which one of those was the easiest thing to do, So, this is not hard, man. Like if it was what any regular fucking person would have been flying his ass to Russia with Snowden, as soon as possible. Whatever.
So our buddy Arya says, by the way, can someone remind me why Lucas didn't want to return? Especially now when everyone considers him as a god and want him back. So a couple of things is that like Lucas is a lot more of an indie punk rock filmmaker than than he's not a Disney guy. He would never make a movie for Disney. He didn't make movies for corporations, and he definitely wouldn't turn over something he had complete 100% control over and then go make a Star Wars movie in that system. He would have just kept it. He would have just kept making Star Wars movies if that's what he wanted to do. And when they inducted George Lucas into the Disney Hall of Fame, kind of, they have a name for it. It's something stupid. I don't remember what it was. But I went to it because Lucas was going, and he's like, I never made a movie for you. I never worked for you.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So,
although actually the real reason is I've been busy working on a Howard the Duck trilogy.
George,
I'm getting into the Marvel game, everybody.
The thing that Arya needs to know about you, George, is that you never did a movie for hire.
No.
You always wrote directed and made your films that you wanted to get made through the studio system at first, but they never came to you and said, "Hey, we want you to direct The Godfather," and then you did it. That you never did that.
No, no, they tried. They tried. Trauma tried to hire me once. After the rounding success of
George Lucas and Troma would have been fucking brilliant. It wouldn't it? That would have been so good.
Yeah, well, it was that or the Indiana Jones Chronicles, and I was like, I don't, young Toxie, young Indy.
I love when Toxic Adventure gets a blind girlfriend.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
so
I wrote
good.
that. That was a part of the scriptment I sent them.
Is that? Oh, that was that your contribution to Rogue One? You're like, make this guy like Toxie's wife, like Toxie's girlfriend.
Yeah. Look, people don't know Linda Ronstadt. She's blind. So that was really based on a true event.
Blinded by science. Aria. The other thing to also remember is that like George didn't want to make movies anymore, and he retired, and he's in his 80s, like 80 years old now, and he's done.
Yeah, he's 80.
Yeah. So, he did everything that he wanted to like do, and he's never gonna do anything with them or for them. A lot of times we keep seeing like, oh, he's at the Mando set all the time because George knows that's the good Star Wars. That's the Star Wars that his son works at, which I think is the other thing, which is the big thing to note. You know what I mean? I think that is. I'm not saying he doesn't love Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, and that he doesn't cherish their friendship, but I think that his son working there is
the love,
joy.
Max is
this song has words. I don't know them, but they're in my brain.
It's gonna be Jason parody song pretty soon when Andor is out. See, I can do this.
You can do it. It's fucking easy.
It's not hard.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Probably because he's old, tired, and cynical. Yeah, maybe. But also, another thing to remember is that he had a child. Had his first biological child like in his 70s, and so that makes me think that he is going to want to spend all of his time raising that child, and that's what he did originally. He did little projects. He kind of farmed out projects and had like one foot in Willow, Howard the Duck, Star Tours, Radioland Murders, the indie sequels, but he wasn't like in it like he was with Star Wars. So yeah, and so you take that.
Wants to play Fortnite all day too, and he's stuck playing it.
God. So you're saying that George Lucas's daughter is probably killing me and Bespin and teabagging us. That sounds right. That definitely tracks.
You've earned it.
Aria, well, nobody liked the prequels, and George was scared to make more Star Wars. I like the prequels, but
nobody.
Yeah, no, but
but Aria been watching.
Yeah, well, no, the internet is trash, and it sucks, and it's cruel, and it's stupid, and remember, like stupid fucking documentaries like The People versus George Lucas, like shit like that. It sucks all of the joy out of everything related to it. And even that documentary, I don't remember who was in it, but I remember watching it and being like, I could defend this shit up and down the street compared to the people that you got, because it was a cherry picked thing. It was about it had a deep thesis before they even filmed a frame of it, and that's not the prequel.
What year did that come out?
And it's George Lucas's fault. I'll look it up right now. I want to say it was definitely probably around 2007 to 2010. I want to say.
All right, so because my whole thing is in the Clerks cartoon, which came out in like 2001. Randall was at the court
2010,
scene, and then he drags. Yeah, so this is Kevin Smith did this joke like 10 years earlier,
Mhm.
where on the Clerks cartoon, Randall drags George Lucas into court and then just starts. It's gonna have to do with George Lucas, but then wants his money back, and then George just gives him his money back.
Mhm.
And he's like, "All right, cool." Like, and then they're
Thanks.
done. They're cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, and like I said, like I remember Katie Lucas was on Twitter. We like conversed all the time. Was super open, and like you could tell was like a regular person though, even though her dad is super fucking rich. She was, but then when the 2011 Blu-rays came out, you saw the openings of those Fandom Menace types doing what they do against her, and she was super upset. She fucking left Twitter, all that stuff, and when that happened, when it went down that way, he sold right after that. I'm not saying that's the reason that he sold, but that was probably a reason, because Star Wars wasn't making his family's life better beyond the financial gains. And the other thing to remember, though, too, is the financial gains, it was coming to the point where Lucasfilm was drying out. Like they had to get on making something or they were going to die. It was,
Yeah, I mean, that was the summer Avengers came out, and I was ranting about it that summer in the art department. I'm like, dude, here we are. We're stuck with this fucking license we can't do anything with. The company that's in charge of it doesn't know what to fucking do with it. We got fucking Vader on a school bus or on a roller coaster with stormtroopers. This is what Star Wars become. I had like a Jerry Maguire, like, Katzenberg, like, ranted. I'm like, they fucking need to make a movie. They're irrelevant. And if they started to if he started making a movie, or if he sold it to somebody and they made a fucking movie, the earliest they'd have it is 2012. Would be 2015. I mean, that's the bare earliest. Like, so they're still 3 years behind. Like, this is ridiculous.
yeah.
And then they announced that sale like a month or two later. It was great.
The 2008 financial crisis was what I always heard was the real thing. Like they lost their shirt, and basically it wasn't recouping. So they weren't getting that money back, and so yeah. But KG says, I think Lucas is involved in just about as much as he wants to be involved. And I also think that what you're saying is probably pretty true. Like remember, George Lucas's natural disposition, if we want to take his narrative of his life completely seriously, is that he's lazy. And that he wants to fuck around and drive cars and fucking look for chicks and be a cool guy with the fucking cool hair. Like that's like
he
what
made
he
a
wanted.
whole movie about it.
Yeah, but I mean, who's it? No, but I mean,
I'm
that
not,
was
I'm not even goofing. I'm being serious.
yeah. American Graffiti is that, but it's like he wanted to, like his natural disposition is that of being lazy, and then it's not until he has the accident and decides to do something with his life, he says, I kind of don't really believe this narrative. It sounds a little bit like bullshit to me. Not that these things didn't happen, just the narrative itself sounds like bullshit to me.
Yeah, it's covered in better. It's articulated and covered more factually in that Lucas biography book the guy did the Henson
the
one.
Skywalking one.
No. I have it on my phone. I listen to the audiobook. This guy did 2 books, one on Lucas, one on Jim Henson. They're brilliant.
Okay.
But like it's way more articulated than that, and he spends a lot of time with Lucas and his family and the Modesto stuff. It's not just like a gloss over.
I read that. I have a copy of it.
Yeah.
I was supposed to review it and I didn't do it because I'm a bad person. But yeah.
Because you're also inherently lazy and you just want to go after and chase chicks.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, play Fortnite.
I was going to say was, yeah. So when you get down to it though, like post success, Lucas is way more just like on my time, is when he's going to get things that he doesn't have anything left to prove. And then he realized that I think he can't prove it now. What can he do? Like he's too big to be good. His audience is too vast that he can never please everybody. He will always he's kind of doomed to failure after hitting the level of success that he did though. If Star Wars hadn't been what it was, like if the Star Wars prequels just came out by themselves and where magically all three were made and were just like their own thing, they wouldn't have been as criticized as they were. And then they would have built their own audience, but it wouldn't have been Star Wars big, of course, but it would have done its own thing. But
he could have kept it going, and he could have kept that whole thing going in a every 3 years kind of thing, if he wanted to put one out, and it would have been, some would have been super high and successful, some would have been super whatever, but I just think like, this is why I don't take any of the criticisms, like I don't say any, but most of the criticisms of Marvel movies any kind of seriously, because people are just forgetting, like, there's nothing people fucking bitched more about than the Phantom Menace. I mean, let's be honest, dude. Like, the Attack of the Clones is a far worse film, but nobody bitched about it. Like, the Phantom Menace was the first time I ever heard that kind of fucking like level of bitching, and it still made a shitload of money, still sold a shitload of toys, and the fucking sequel still made a shitload of money, still sold a shitload of toys.
But so, when fans think that they're becoming Randall, they think they're becoming activists. Did you make Attack of the Clones better with your behavior in 1999? No, they didn't.
Right. Attack
of the Clones is not a better movie. Like that's the other side of all of this, that it, like, we haven't learned our nerd culture, whatever you want to call it, is I don't even really buy into that concept, but it didn't help. It doesn't help. I mean, like, when was the last time that we saw a dog pile lead to better quality in something like that?
Only one I can think of. Only one.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was the Sonic the Hedgehog model.
Yeah.
The dog pile in that trailer led to a better visual. I mean, let's be honest. You don't want to look at ugly Sonic for a whole. People go, "Oh, it's Chip and Dale." You don't want a whole movie of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in a parody, it's one thing, but in the actual film, you don't want that. So that's that's it. That's all. And honestly, there's a group of, YouTube pundits. I'm not saying Campia, but those kinds of folks, right? Who, when they did that, went, "Oh, now they're caving in. Oh, now they're listening to Twitter. They should stick to their guns and do with their own thing." I'm like, no, they're sticking. I'll tell you what fucking happened, right? Everyone got those style guides from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie with the fugly Sonic, right? No, and I'm going to tell you what happened. Walmart and all these other ones said, "We're not putting that shit on our shelves. It's going to scare children." And you go, "What are you talking about?" I heard it during the Amazing Spider-Man when we got the lizard. They thought it was weird. That's why when he smiles, it's like a grin, because they didn't want those shirts being an 8-year-old thing being too scary. And that's where all this stuff comes from. And so when the Sonic model got changed, they didn't have time to update, and you didn't get any of that fugly Sonic shit except for the costume, because those costumes get sent to China or made like a year in advance. The whole fucking thing. So like, what happened was they got word from licensing that they are not going to have shelf space for this shit if you continue to do it. Yeah. And when they fixed it, now you see beautiful Sonic on everything now, right? Like, it's everywhere. So that's what happened there. 100%.
Yeah.
And then with Lucas, if he cowered to anything, yeah, I'm sure he fucking definitely got tired of hearing the fans bitch.
Well, he cowered to the Jar Jar thing. Like that's my big criticism of that trilogy is the fact that we invest so heavily into Jar Jar with so little return for the investment, in the character. I love Jar Jar, but that's one of the things I love about the Clone Wars is it kind of, to some degree, gave us more, but I still, in the Clone Wars, wanted to see Jar Jar get wrapped up too, and it still didn't happen. We still didn't get a real solid Jar Jar wrap up. He did get a girlfriend named Julia, though, so I like to think they're, banging duck style somewhere. Planet Fitness says, I was laughing at this, though, because this just exemplifies us. I love both of you, but it exemplifies us. Star Wars fans, I think they should have gone with George's sequels. Planet Fitness. George's sequels would have been bad. And it's just like, and the truth is, kind of agree with both of you. I don't think George Lucas is a mainstream filmmaker anymore. So I think that he would be sidestepping what the audience wants. all the time.
It'd be one thing if he was currently at that time, so 2014. Because right now he's not doing shit. But it would be one thing if at that time he was good at making the thing he wanted to make. But he had a lot of involvement on Red Tails, despite who the directed credits are in that film, and that's not good, man. Like I was so excited about that movie, you know, and I love the all of the black soldiers who served in the American military in World War II and what they went through, and up in the Korean War. I have a lot of I got a lot of love for that Tuskegee Airmen era, and like that movie was like, what? It's a fucking card. It's beyond a cartoon. I don't know what this is. The tone is weird. It's trying to be so many different things, you know.
That I really actually liked the movie. I mean, I liked where he was coming from with it, which was, let's give, you know, Black history a fun Star Wars-y adventure kind of thing, and let's not ignore the realities, but let's celebrate the heroism. And like, so I kind of see where he was going with that. And we already had like the big Red Tails miniseries with James Earl Jones and stuff. So I think he was kind of forced. If he took so long to make the project, that's the only thing he could do, I think, at that point.
I feel like that idea should have been worked into an Indiana Jones film. And that tone would have been accepted if Indiana Jones and the Tuskegee Airmen are on a fucking mission, you know what I mean? Like to stop fucking Nazi or some other shit, you know? What I mean? Like that would have during World War II,
Dam Busters with the Tuskegee Airmen doing the mission with Indy. Yeah, that would have been very fun. That's why I am saying Young Indiana Jones Chronicles coming to Disney Plus. Young Indy and the Tuskegee Airmen have a very good adventure.
That's that voice you do. I gotta nail that. I gotta work on that voice.
It's my asshole voice.
I want. And it's almost like Cartman's good behavior voice.
Yeah, Mom, and then you go to Casa Bonita.
I've been to Casa Bonita.
I didn't know it was real. I was excited. I mean, I want to go.
As soon as the pandemic is over, I'm not even going there. But we want to go back since Trey and them are fixing the food.
Biden just said the pandemic was over, and now
I don't want to do this. I'm gonna laugh myself into a pee fit. I don't want to go there with this. Sure it is.
Anyways, Arville says, well, that's all speculation, but yeah, basically like you thought the Last Jedi stuff was bad. The message boards back in the day were fucking toxic. And they were pretty awful. And you know, like I remember
used the N-word left and right in the talkbacks, if you remember, man. Like there was no moderation in those talkbacks. That's why Kevin Smith made that whole ending to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where they just read the talkbacks, and I mean it's his own forum, but it's movie poop shoot. But it was, you know, they're reading the talkbacks and they just beat the shit out of everyone for.
Back then I remember I people would come to me and be like, well, who's the protagonist of the Phantom Menace? And I'm like, it's Padme. And they would like fight me. And I would just be like, look, man, every checkbox is checked for her being the protagonist, other than having a dick, which is a checkbox you've added. And so it kind of doesn't surprise me that later on, like, you know, Holdo gave those guys their first period. KG said, didn't Georgia's sequels have Luke turning into a hermit as well? Or is that just my imagination? So they say that. I honestly, I'm not calling anybody a liar. Maybe it's parallel thinking. But they literally said Rainn Wilson was the one who had the that's her name, right? Rainn Wilson. Let me check that.
Rainn Wilson's a dude from Family.
Rainn Roberts. Rainn Roberts is what I'm thinking. I knew I was saying Dwight? It wrong. I knew I was. Rainn Roberts. She was the one who came up with the Luke idea and pitched that in the story to the story group, which was then used by J.J. Abrams as like, that's the solution. So the question is was that a misattribution? Was Rain Roberts simply quoting George Lucas's original concept? Or is George Lucas taking one for the team and saying, well, I would have done that, and saying, well, that's just, I don't know. I don't want to get conspiratorial about it because there's like no evidence, but there's definitely something just really weird about saying that Rain Roberts created that concept and then George Lucas having done it before. Like, which is it, you know?
My only Star Wars wish, like personal wish, I gotta roll, but my only Star Wars wish is that.
Wait, did you say that because
read...
I'm fat? Is that why you said that? And you're not? Is that why you said roll? Like trying to like you're getting down one knee to my level? Is that what you mean?
Well, imposter syndrome's real, Jason. So,
sorry, go on. Sorry, I know you have to go. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's the Michael Arndt script. I want to read that so much. That's the only way.
It's just the treatment. Yeah, it's just
okay,
the
I want to read the treatment. Fine, I want to read the treatment.
Yeah, 40-page treatment for the trilogy.
I want to read it.
And it probably incorporated George's batshit ideas as best he could. That's probably
I want to read that so much. Like that's the one. That's like the holy grail of things I'm interested. If you were like Rob, if you could read the Arndt treatment, or you could like, watch the I don't know, go to the premiere of the Arndt treatment. I don't care. You could be on the show. I want to read the Arndt treatment. I don't give a shit about being on the show. I want to read that treatment.
I talked to somebody once at Lucasfilm who was being pretty candid with me overall and read it and like literally didn't remember most of it.
Yeah.
Which I know, but which I want to say I think might be telling. But that's not a slight. That's not a slight against him. It's just I don't think he got to do what he needed to do. They weren't patient enough to work with Michael Arndt, unfortunately.
I'm not saying it's some holy grail that they're sitting on and they ignored it.
But it's the holy grail of curiosity for us, for sure.
Yeah, it's curiosity, and it's it's the same way I wanted to read that Adventures of Starkiller script, and then I did, and you're like, how do I even make a header? And I feel like I haven't had that feeling of reading a script ever since the first time I read that. Because how do you get your head around this thing? And I had already seen the Star Wars movies. Yeah. It's so fucking weird, And I feel like, oh, that weird has to be there, like that. Oh no. This is odd. I don't know how this
remember
fits.
Anakin pinching Princess Leia's ass? That's how he meets her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Princess of Aqualay. So all right, man.
All right. See you later, Mayor of Aqualay.
See you on the other side of Andor.
Yeah. See you tonight.
No, sure.
Bye. Okay, so Pepe says not one single person cares about Maul unless you are a Clone Wars fan. But once again, number one, I think it would have been cool if a guy in the first episode became a villain in the last trilogy. If it had gone that way, that would definitely have been fun way to tie it together and would have opened up a lot of stuff we never considered before in doing so. But just like I said with Boba Fett, man, regardless of whether you like the Boba Fett series or not, before the Boba Fett series, everyone was like, oh, I don't like him. He's nothing. And I was like, well, that's the opportunity to make him something. And the sequel, if he had been the villain in the sequels, that would have been the opportunity. But I don't really love the idea of him being the main bad guy. Luke was going to be awful in George's sequels. I don't know, man. I mean, that's like heavy language though, like awful. Like it would have been George's vision of Luke, which you could say is awful if you want to. But George's vision, I think George's vision of Luke would have been more left field in the Rian Johnson's side of things than not. But also remember, Rian Johnson didn't create that Luke. Either George Lucas did, depending on, or Rain Roberts did, and J.J. Abrams put it in. And then Rian Johnson executed. So I don't know, I mean, it's like there's really no winning with Luke Skywalker unless you just show people what they remember that they liked. But that's not something that you could work with in the trilogy at the end of the day. Mando appearances is fine though. Aggressively Relaxing, still the best name in all of the internet. Disney Star Wars basically did everything Lucas was talking about, and we all loved it so much. We are sitting here listening now. I mean, I think it's pretty positive across the board when you really get down to it. 3 Andor soundtracks have hit the internet. Man, I love to play it, but I wonder if that music would get us flagged. But I definitely want to hear it. Send it to me. Send it to me. Come on. I need to hear this. I'm telling her to send me a copy. So, yeah. Rob, Titan says, Rob, I know indie devs that have walked away from indie pubs, Rhymes and Evolver, because as much as 50% of their pay was tied to Metacritic score. Yeah, that's really sad, especially when it's like not entirely on you. I could see it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Ari says, I asked Jason this morning if the Gilroy news was real. He said it was fake, and guess fucking what? The people behind the article retracted their statement. Yeah, we did talk about that. It was not accurate. So, which I thought was great. Did I just go all the way up top? My chat, this program. Lawrence Fishburne was in the Tuskegee Airmen, not James Earl Jones. Okay, I thought there was a movie, like a TV miniseries with James Earl Jones at some point, but I must be wrong. KG, I remember watching it on cable when I was like young. Baymax says, "Hey, how's it going, Baymax? More of a travel day? Yeah, I hear you're having a good time traveling today." Tyler says, wasn't George's ideas mainly based around the organic forest, talking to trees? One had 2 main stars, both being adolescents, turning into preteens, or turning it, and then using organic force to fight off industry. If you take George Lucas's ideas at face value, that's part of it. When you listen to what he talked about with James Cameron in that interview, I think was more of like the deeper side of it. Like the Phantom Menace is about symbiosis. And would you ever say the Phantom Menace is a film about symbiosis if somebody asked you what the Phantom Menace is about? And no, you wouldn't. And so I kind of don't know exactly to what level how George wanted to get into that, into the micro side of things and all of that kind of stuff. I have no idea, but Luz says everyone is jerking off how good Andor is. Is it really that good? So here's what I think. I think it's going to come out. I think most of us are going to be happy. I think that this show was literally created for this show is the type of content that reviewers love. So the question becomes, do Star Wars fans love it? Do Star Wars fans find it boring? Does it resonate with most Star Wars fans? I think that's like the big question. You know what I mean? I think that's where we're going to end up with in all of this. I think we're going to see people going tomorrow going like, that shit was boring. Nothing happened. A lot happens, but it's subtle. And, for the last couple of months, been hearing a lot about these episodes. I think I know everything that happens in the episodes. And when, it's not really stuff to it's spoiler proof, and essentially, and they realize it because it's about like the dramatic conceit, the performance, how it unfolds. And but I think if it's like, if you're a and then kind of person, I'm not so sure it's going to work so well. Like, for instance, Game of Thrones might be the best example. There's people who watch Game of Thrones and liked it when they were looking at titties and violence, right? Definitely like how a large portion of the audience were the fucking dragons walking around. But then there was like the politics and the relationships and how those things intertwine and what they mean. And the people who were intrigued with that, as well as titties and dragons and violence, were very happy. Like it was hitting all of their check boxes. I am curious if the majority of Star Wars fans are going to care about political intrigue and that kind of stuff in this show. Like, I don't know. I think I'm going to love it. I think this is made for, probably made for me more than most of what they've made. Like I could definitely I watched The Mandalorian with my 8-year-old boy, and his level of enjoyment and mine are not the same. Like he really has a good time. And I love watching that. And I love the show for that. Like that's the show's doing what it should do. And I almost feel like the tables are going to be reversed on this one. I think my kid's going to enjoy watching this because it has, interesting environments with interesting backgrounds and characters that he likes, but also is it going to give my 8-year-old that dopamine hit that it gets off of Mandalorian? I'm going to guess not. But at the same time, I would love to be wrong. And that's just a thought, it's just my thought right now of where we're at with that stuff. So, but I'm optimistic, and I hope this is like the most highly acclaimed Star Wars content of all time, and that it sets a bar for and teaches them exactly, Star Wars fans can be more sophisticated. Is it sophisticated? It sounds like it is. Is it? I don't know. And that's what I'm excited for tonight. Tonight's going to be fun. I mean, I'm going to come on right after I watch it. Max is going to be with me. James is welcome to come as well. I invited James. He actually asked me if we were going to do it like a week ago, and I haven't been on, so I didn't see it. But I should be on tonight. And James was fucking critical as fuck of like Kenobi. Like I don't think he had fun. And I'm gonna say tonight, if James does come, if James doesn't like Kenobi, doesn't like Boba Fett, and this doesn't hit the mark, then I think Disney Star Wars broken for him forever. But I think it's gonna please him. I think it's gonna make everybody really, really happy. I love the politics in Game of Thrones and House of Dragons. If Andor is on the level of that, I'll be satisfied. Not sure about the Star Wars fandom as a whole, though. Yeah, I actually have a ton of spoilers from House of Dragons. I don't know if I want to release it or not, though, or get into it. But I might. I'll think about it. Maybe, see. But yeah, sounds like the 9th episode of Game of Thrones of House of Dragons is going to be badass. Sounds like that's the one. But yeah, so anyways, Superfry says, in all honesty, I think there's a company, writer, and director that can make a perfect Star Wars. I don't think there's a writer, director company that can make a perfect Star Wars show or movie. There's always going to be part of the fandom that hates something about it. Yeah, I mean, there's all, and it's kind of like why it works for me is like as a child, Star Wars: A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi are all so different. They all have their own vibe, and I was able to keep watching them because when I was wanting that certain vibe, that movie would give it to me that the other one didn't. I was always like, when there was only 3, it was never like Empire or Jedi. It was always like, I knew exactly the one, like I didn't need to think about it. And, but that goes to show you how big Star Wars is. It's so much bigger than just one little simple idea. And when one little simple idea works really well for somebody and then they don't get that, then they completely are lost or mad. I don't understand it. I mean, even the worst Star Wars for me has been really fun. Even Book of Boba Fett, which I think is the worst live action Star Wars outside of like the Ewok movies and stuff, still had a great time watching it. I still would watch the worst episode of Book of Boba Fett over most anything else. But it doesn't mean I can't be critical of it and that I shouldn't be, and for the discussion especially. But we already talked about that one. Tyrant says, by the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, nobody was happy with the titties, violence, or the political intrigue. As someone who loved the series, season 1 through season 3, you can't hit all 3. And then Dragons is doing okay so far. Yeah, I was pretty happy with Game of Thrones. I would have preferred the final season to have been longer, how everything shook out and stuff. So, but it's like, that show shouldn't be successful and was. Like, what gave that show its balls is the antithesis of pop. And it found itself in a precarious situation. I mean, obviously those guys leaving early and wrapping it up so quickly was not the way to do it, and was a big mistake. But I'm currently on my rewatch of Game of Thrones right now, and I'm on season 4. I think I'm about to finish season 4 right now. It's been a minute since I've seen an MSW article. I know I keep just coming here, and just telling you guys directly. I haven't had. I'm not saying like I quit it or I'm done with the blog or anything like that. I don't mean that, but I prefer this lately. This is and whenever I go and I do that stuff there, then people just steal the content and don't cite me because they have an out to not cite me, even though it's not true. And so I'd almost rather just make it where they have to suffer through this with us, if they want to get the info. Game of Thrones, Tyrant says, Game of Thrones always does the second to last episode as their crescendo, so the last episode can be the remorse and fallout episode. I'm not looking forward to it this jump because I actually like these actors. Oh right, yeah, the time jump or whatever that we have. Yeah, it does seem like House of Dragons, like the first, 5 episodes we're on 5 now, are like its own mini series, and then we go like a time jump, and then it's like here now we're on to the like familial saga or something, and which is cool, and it's a lot better to lament the fact that we're not going to see more of these young characters. Because it means that they were convincing and did a good job, as opposed to being like, well, past that, let's go, So is what it is, though. But anyways, I'm gonna go now because the kids are having an early day today, so I need to take care of some business, and I'll be back tonight, obviously, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning to talk about the show again. So tonight I'm gonna give my preliminary thoughts, probably watch it again. And then come back in the morning and give my second watch review after all of the shock of the new thing is worn off, And if you're the kind of person who can't be wrong, after you watch it, don't say anything. If you plan on watching it again, then watch it again, then say something. But because I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to come out of this one going, "This is the best Star Wars ever," who aren't going to believe that in 6 months. Because it will have been like, well, I saw the totality of that, and I'm not that enamored with it. And I think there's going to be people that are like saying it's bad, and then will grow to love it after they realize what it's doing and where it's going. So, but I hope everybody has a good, happy Andor watching, as KG says, and I hope Tyrant and Gilroy could finally bury the hatchet and move on with their lives and become friends again. But happy fuck Tony Gilroy Day, says Tyrant. But I hope everybody has a good time watching it and has fun. Emotional evolution is never wrong. They thought they were once, but they were mistaken. And it's big of you to come here and admit that today. Tyrant says tomorrow is FN Tony Gilroy Day. Tonight's FN Tony Gilroy Eve, as Santa would say. I'm pretty excited. Luthen Rael MVP. I think so. I think Luthen might be sort of our main character that we didn't really see coming. but everything that we've seen about him, I'm loving it. He's got a Plo Koon mask in his collection, by the way. Did you guys see that? Got the Plo Koon electronics. Because he says, I'm about to fill out the predictions. Oh, for the Santa show? Nice. Yeah. Make sure you do all 3. There's 3 this time because there's 3 episodes. And then Arville says that character seems cool. Yeah, he does. He does seem cool. And it's like, as like a child, like I loved Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like that, and I'm not just saying that because he became what he became. Like I really liked Obi-Wan. Like I bought his action figure twice as a kid because I saw it packaged again. I was like, it looks so cool like that. And the lightsaber is perfect and stuff. And but where I'm going with this is I was a child and I was like, oh, an old guy can be a hero. And I was cool with that as a kid. And so I'm curious to see where Luthen goes with that, because mainstream Hollywood would say no, but it's not really true. If you gave a 60-year-old Batman, the kids would be fine with it. I think anyway. Star Wars Fits is looking forward to Andor tonight. I hope you enjoy it. I hope everybody comes back tomorrow and tells me I'm right and Rob is wrong and enjoys it. And all the fake Star Wars YouTube shows now get to carry the fuck Tony Gilroy banner for me for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, I know. They will too. They will. Once they get the allegory, they're not smart. So it might not be as fast as it was with Kenobi, where they just were like, oh, a black woman and she has screen time. That's all I need to hear. Like that was their angle on that one. Not mine, obviously. This one is going to, I think, be more politically charged than any of the things that they have done before, if they can see the allegory. We'll see. But yep. Andor, you mean Andor here. I'll put that. This is how it's spelled. If you just open your ears, KG, and watch the trailers, Luthen says it like 15 times. Pay attention. Jeez. But come back tomorrow, everybody. Hang out with me tomorrow. Let me know what you think. We'll delve into what all this stuff means and the depths of it, and hopefully enjoy it. There you go, KG. KG's got it. And we'll tear it apart if it's great. We'll tear it apart if it's bad. We'll dig into it tomorrow. Tonight, actually, too. If you stay up tonight, come tonight, because tonight's where we stay up and watch it as soon as it hits. If it comes out early, I'm not talking like 5 minutes early. If it comes out like 8 o'clock or whatever, I will put it on the socials. I'll be like, it's up, guys. So if you follow me at Making Star Wars on Twitter, Facebook, any of that stuff, it'll come up. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good time. Be cool. Enjoy yourself. And I'll see you tonight. Late tonight.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
Psych! I promise. Somebody asked for this first.
Once that I spied my little eye. Andor, Cassian Andor, talk about Andor, Cassian Andor. He's a rebel spy, super bad friend. Give you a hug at the very end. Make that man feel like 100. He's the rogue one for me. Keeps you ass up. He's not in the show. Is he a fish or a thief? He's Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor. It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.